What's going on, guys, and welcome back. So we saw it on stream when me and Brock were messing around trying to get things ready for the DCS 5 January 8th and 9th. We were getting our stream set up, testing a few things, working on getting our layout down, the double camera set up, everything else like that. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to play this deck because I'm working on it. I have changed a couple things here and there, so my notes aren't quite accurate, but they're very, very close. I did main thing that I changed was I added a second cloak and I cut the crescendo because I was never actually going for crescendo, and that's really all that changed from that point. So without further ado though, guys, let's go ahead and we'll go through the deck list, then I'll cover the ratios, I'll talk about my notes and like the reasons why I think this deck does work, and then I just got a quick combo video. I did a random test hand, which was, I mean, between like the best starter with scrap recycling and then just an extender in hand. So recycler plus extender, and that's kind of where we go with it. So 3 scrap recycler, 2 nightmare, 2 symbol, 1 wand. That's the Orcust package as far as the monsters go. 3 torn skills, 2 silent boots, 2 ancient cloak, 1 stained greaves for our PK monsters. Then level 3 extenders, we got seer, we got graph, the double Kajimuka Knight, the 1 Defrag Dragon. Oh, I actually added this in because I saw it on the, the remote duel in Europe, or it was some bigger tournament. Maybe it was, I think like an 80-person one that I saw the list for, and he played that, and I was like, that's actually not that bad. I cut my 3rd Kajimuka Knight for it because I just wanted a variety of level 3 extenders, so I did. So that is also a swap since stream. If you saw the deck list then, that did change too. But other than those 2 changes, nothing else changed, and that's really not a big change. It's just 1 less card in hand because you send, but that's not a big issue when you're playing with Orcust and PK. So, you know, kind of not an issue. 1 Tsuchinoko, 1 Jackalope. Then we have our Psychics, the Tracker, and the Wheelator. Playing Destiny Hero, so we have Dasher and Celestial. We'll talk about that. The 1 Babble, that's it for our Orcust spell and traps. 2 E-Telly for the free extender. The 1 Rhoda for the free searcher. The 1 Foolish Burial because we can send PK if we need it. We can send Orcust, obviously. Like, you can really be flexible in what you need to do. The 3 Fusion Destiny because you actually want to open it, but if you don't, that's not a big issue because we make Verde like bread and butter. 3 Droplet, 3 Dark Ruler, no more. I don't care if I like win that turn. I don't go to OTK. I break your board and I stop you from really doing anything through monster negates, through just popping all of your cards, things like that. So Dark Ruler, pretty good. Droplet's nice because obviously, again, we don't care if our cards go to the graveyard, we plus off that anyway. 2 Fogblade and the 1 Shade Brigandine. 1 Phoenix Enforcer for our extra deck, the 1 Breaksword, 1 Evil Swarm Nightmare, 1 Dante, 1 Dingirsu, 1 Zeus. Actually probably least used card in the extra deck. I've like not used it hardly at all in testing. 2 Galatea, 1 Cherubini, 1 Verde, 1 IP, 1 Phoenix, 1 Unicorn, the Rusty, and of course access code. So 44 cards. And what kind of makes the deck work? Like, well, with before when I had the Crescendo in and the 3rd Kajimuka Knight instead of Cloak and Defrag, which isn't going to change these numbers too much again because this is still an extender, so that doesn't change, and actually we gain a level 3 that we could potentially normal summon to our pool, so there should be like 24 of them now as opposed to the 23 when I did my math. But the chances to do Orcust combo were about 53%, and that would be just a tiny bit higher now actually on the off chance that you open Defrag with it, because then you could send the Orcust with that. So I mean, that's pretty marginal, so we'll be generous and say we went from 53 to 54. Like, it's going to be pretty small, but small is still an increase when you're going up, that is. But our percent of PK combo, as long as my math was correct, which I sure hope it was, I wrote down like all the different combinations, all of our different ways to get multiple level 3s on board, considering like, okay, Foolish Cloak, add Vanish Cloak, add boots, like normal summon Stain, like things like that, like to get double level 3s, like trying to figure out all these hands that can do it. our free level 2 or free level 3s, everything like that. And I came out to about roughly 89% of hands, and I mean, in testing it sure feels like about 9 out of 10 hands can put out 2 level 3s on board, because when you're playing like 20 plus level 3s, it's really easy to get 2 of them. Just saying, it's really easy. So we have 11 free level 3 special summons, which means that you have a 78% chance to open one. You only need one. The rest are just extenders to push through disruptions. So a 78% chance to open one of them, and then you just need any other of your 23, 24 level 3s to normal summon, and then you use the free summon, the free special summon, whether it's chaining the Kajimuka to your normal summon, whether it's one of our dangers that gives us the free summon, whether it's the Wheelitter or the Tracker, whether it's the E-Tellies, you know, whether it's the Rhoda, whether it's the Foolish Burial. Like, there's just so many ways to get level 3s on board with the deck. So what are some of the synergies? Like for Orcus to the PK, obviously they're all dark, but that's not really an inherent synergy. That just means that PK doesn't get stopped if you do your Orcus plays early. We have Scrap Recycler. I went with Scrap Recycler over Tour Guide because it's a level 3, I mean obviously Tour is too, but it's a level 3 that dumps your Nightmare to the graveyard, which gives you the Orcus combo, and then any special summon level 3, you do all your PK stuff and you still have Nightmare in the graveyard to follow up with or to help play through disruption on the back end of things. So like right there, being Scrap Recycler being a level 3 that dumps your Orcus, that's all you need. I did test a little bit with the Fridge and the Secession, and it's just, you're adding a card that you really don't need, because you'd need the Crystron Rose next too, because then you could like normal Scrap, send Rose next, banish it, get the token, or does it summon itself, and then you go into Wyvern summon Recycler, pop Recycler, summon Golem, pop the Wyvern, then Golem, revive the Recycler, and dump the wand, make your Lib, get your Secession, Golem, Recycler, yada yada yada, and do it that way. But adding the 2 bricks to the deck, I didn't like it, so we ended up going away from it because the deck does enough and does what we want to do anyway. But I went with the Recycler over the Tour Guide because the deck is so consistent in the PK portion already that Tour Guide really wasn't doing much more than Recycler at that point. Like, it'd bump us up a little bit, but what Recycler does for the Orcus part is far greater than what Tour Guide does for the PK part, because the PK part is just really good on its own anyway. We also have, like, your Torn Scales can discard, your Dangers can discard, your Defrag Dragon can send. Like, these are all just free discard outlets. Forbidden Droplet can also send. Like, these are your ways to get your Orcus out of your hand to your graveyard to use for your effects. Orcus Symbol Skeleton, also a level 3. So I've had hands where like I have Symbol and actually 2 extenders, because who knew we have so many of them, and then you can leave Symbol on field and go into your Cherubini play that way, summoning to its arrows so that the Seer doesn't pop itself. And I mean, you know the drill from there, PK combo, and then you have Symbol on field still, so you can go into your Galatea, and then you can also banish that Symbol a little bit later to bring like Galatea back for another free body, and then you can put the Symbol back in your deck to get your Babel. Like, it's just, you can do so much with it, like, because Symbol is also a level 3. Again, we said the mostly darks, but that's not going to do a whole lot. The Rusty Ding play obviously is one of the fun synergies, where you special summon Dingirsu on your opponent's turn, and you can send a card, but you summon it to Rusty's arrow, so you can also pop a card. And sometimes you don't need to send and pop, so I'll actually use Dingirsu to just attach the Symbol again, and then Rusty to pop 1 card, so you pop the 1 card and you get Symbol back, which gives you destruction protection and follow up for next turn, which is really nice. I tried with and without Dante. Doesn't come up too often, but once in a while it's like, especially if you're starting to fall behind an advantage or it's late in the grind game, and especially if like your deck count's getting lower and you're in a really grindy game, your opponent doesn't have a negate, and you get out the 2 level 3s, but you burn through most of your extra deck. Like, going into Dante, milling 3 and hitting Orcust Engine, or just hitting like full follow up in your graveyard, is the best feeling ever. So that's actually pretty nice and strong there. We also have Cherubini, again, can send Symbol because it is a level 3. Foolish, we mentioned the double use PK or the Orcus packages. DPE, you can go ahead and pop like if you had, there was one time, how did it go exactly? I got Dingirsu on field, and I ended up popping it, and like after I used its effect, and then banish symbol to bring it back and send another card. Like DPE just giving that little bit of flexibility there as well. And I've actually had some, like, to survive a turn. I mean, this has nothing to do with Orcus, but I had to Fogblade my own card to protect it so my opponent couldn't attack over it. And then on my turn, just DPE pop the Fogblade, pop one of their cards, and now, or even main phase 2, and then the Fogblade's gone. The effect negation is also gone, which isn't a huge thing, but I'm trying to think. I can't. Who was? Yeah, I can't tell you what card it was right now. But yeah, otherwise, so roughly 4% of our hands I was able to do Orcus combo, which I know isn't the greatest, but like 90% doing PK. And again, I don't think PK is, or Orcus is the best way to play PK, but I think PK is the best way to play Orcus. And personally, I just really liked Orcus and wanted to incorporate it into a deck. And I was like, okay, PK is going to be my go-to. I think it's the best way to do it. Again, being completely competitive, PK without the Orcus is going to be your better option. Could even include the Scythe combo and the Scythe lock, with Dagda, Scythe, DPE, all that fun stuff. I was for a while too, and it doesn't conflict with the Orcus stuff because you do it first. Like, that's usually a pretty early thing to do on your opponent's turn. Like, they summon a card, you pop it, and you get your Scythe. Like, then you can do Orcus stuff afterwards, so it really doesn't conflict, but I just cut it for more consistency issues. And I guess, yeah, I'll go ahead and we'll do that one replay. So kind of just to walk through like the whole train of thought here, like, so Recycler, we're going to go ahead and then chain the Kajimuka Knight, which actually gives us protection from like Ash Blossom, Cherubini, Sending Graph. You guys know what we're doing here. Like, we already dumped the Nightmare, and now we're just going to go ahead, Rusty, and then go ahead, get your Cherubini. Send your Stained Grease so we can get that Ancient Cloak out of our hand. And now we're going to go ahead and do Orcus combo. And I tried to set myself up too, like, to just have really good follow-up with this. We happen to open our Dasher, which is one of our bricks. Not going to be the end of the world, but then we get our Babel, Dingirsu, and then we can go Verde Anaconda, send, and get our Fusion. So now at this point, like, our graveyard doesn't look the greatest. We can still set Forbidden Droplet, and on our opponent's turn we have Nightmare engraved. So we have Nightmare, we can send Symbol, then banish Symbol to summon the Dingirsu. And like I said, you can either send and pop, or since we have another pop and you still have a Monster Negate and Forbidden Droplet, you could actually attach the Symbol or attach the Nightmare. Because if you attach the Nightmare and then you have to detach it to protect on your turn, then you can banish the Nightmare and either dump the wand and summon out the Symbol, and then go and do really anything you want again. Symbol, banish, resummon again. It gives you really good follow-up there too. But otherwise, having the Droplet there, and then we have the Dasher and Celestial in graveyard, so you can actually have full follow-up here, like Torn Scales plus whatever you draw as your discard. And then you can send your other Cloak and then get your Boots, special summon Boots. That's your 2 level 3s. So let's say you lost everything, but your opponent like doesn't have much because they just did all that. Like Torn Scales, that's full follow-up. Torn Scales plus draw. And we also have Celestial in graveyard, so you can go ahead and draw 2 more. And like, I didn't mention that in the deck profile part, but like, how good is that? Like, okay, I get Dasher and I drew Nightmare for turn. Okay, now I can special summon it because of Dasher. Or likewise, I can't tell you how many times I drew into full combo off Celestial because the deck is so many level 3s. Like, it's just really, really insane what the deck can do. The deck is just so much push and extenders, and it's so much fun to play. But hopefully you guys enjoyed my take on PK Orcus. Let me know down below what you guys thought, and until next time, take care.